Oh dear. Oh, okay. I'll stick my hand in front of the camera. I haven't done this in a while, so I'm a little uncomfortable with it, and I have been a little bit unwell. I came down with a sore neck about 10 days ago, and then my lymph nodes started to swell up really bad. And of course, when your lymph nodes swell, you think, okay, I have an infection. It'll run its course and everything will be okay. Especially if you're like me and you don't particularly care for going to the doctor. Not just because they're inconvenient and it's time consuming, but because they take all your money. They want this office fee, and then they want more after that, after the insurance has been filed, and so I put it off as long as possible. But anyway, I took my daughter shopping, Rosanna. I took her shopping with Winky and I to Florence on Friday, and we were gone most of the day, but by the time that we got done shopping, my neck had gotten so sore and my lymph nodes and the tissues around it had swollen so bad that I was just in near agony. And I decided, okay, it's time to go to the fast-paced clinic. And fortunately for me, they were still open. It was like 4:45 in the evening, and they stayed open till 8. So I went ahead and I explained to the doctor what was going on, and they drew some blood. Well, actually, I explained what was going on, and then he asked me some questions, and then he did a physical evaluation, and then he asked me if I had cats, and I said, yes, I do. And he asked me, have you been exposed to any cat bites or scratches recently? And I said, well, yes, actually I have. A feral kitten got on our porch several days ago, and the ensuing commotion of me trying to get it off the porch because my cats were being traumatized resulted in me getting scratched up pretty good by this kitten. And I really felt bad for it because it was a cute little kitten, and I would have liked to have been able to do something for it. But it was feral, and it would not let me pick it up, and I didn't want it to just be trotted off and dumped or harmed in any way, shape, or form. But also I had to keep in mind that I have 3 cats of my own, and they were being displaced because this little kitten, I don't even know how it got on our porch because the fencing was all shut. I got a new enclosure for the end of the porch that doesn't have any openings in it now. And so I just could not figure out how this kitten even got onto the porch, let alone on top of the cat house, perched on my cat's bed and pillows. It was cute as it could be, but it was causing disruption in a major way. So I just wanted to shoo it off the porch was all I wanted to do. So I opened up the fencing and I got the broom, and I never hit it with the broom. I just kind of scooted it, but it didn't want to be scooted off. So we went from pillar to post, behind the cat house to the end of the porch, around the plants to the other end of the porch. And the entire time I'm running around and my cats are going crazy, and Miss Pretty is hissing and Tig is mortified. And so it gets into the crate, and I try to reach for it, and it shreds my arms with its claws. So anyway, I'm like, that's not cute. So several days after that, I started not feeling too well. And so anyway, long story short, the doctor thinks, or he thinks, or he gave me a diagnosis at the time of probable cat scratch fever, which when I looked it up, there's more to that than you might think, or toxoplasmosis, and that's just horrible. Or my thyroid is acting up, which of course tests determined that that's not what that was. So anyway, I have a cat scratch fever that I am recuperating from. Doesn't that sound horrible? Cat scratch fever. That's stupid Ted Nugent song. Ugh, makes me want to throw up. But anyway, so I'm on antibiotics and I'm finally getting better, but I'm not looking extremely perky and well, and I still feel kind of bad in a lot of ways. So that's been going on, and I've just been dealing with a lot of stuff. My daughter's car tore up, and we've been trying to fix her vehicle, and then taking her back and forth to work in the meantime, and it needed new tires, and it needed new headlights, and it needed the oil changed, and she needs a new car, and that's not possible right now. So we patched her little car back up, and hopefully it will get her to and from for a long enough period of time that we won't have any more crises in that regard for a while. My son still hasn't spoken to me. It's been since June 15th, several months now. And anyway, there's not much I can do about that, except, I do try to maintain some contact in some small way, shape, or form every now and then, and my daughter tries to keep me up to date as she's able. Let me see what else. We were going to Texas to spend Thanksgiving with Corey, but that fell through. I could give you her reasons, and then I can give you the reasons that I believe it fell through. And I think actually I will do that because I can't do this with very many people. Okay, so we've been planning on going to Texas to spend Thanksgiving with Corey. Corey has moved back in with her previous mate, Sherry Harmon. So they're living together in a very platonic situation. And I'm sure that's very stressful for Sherry because she still loves Corey very much. And it's probably very difficult for both of them in many, many ways. And Sherry's daughter, she only has one daughter. She has a son and a daughter. Her daughter is living there. And so Corey has moved back in to the home that she moved out of twice. And she's got a crappy job now because she quit her good job. She's working at a Best Buy, which is a retail store, and she's not making great money. So she needed a place to stay that would not require that she paid rent, and she needed to live with someone that would split the utilities with her, and that type of thing. She needed a beneficial situation, and I think she realized that Sherry would allow her to come back, and regardless how hard that is on Sherry, Corey did that. And I think actually if she had cared enough for Sherry, she would have never done that, because now Sherry's going to have to go through the process of grieving and losing somebody that she loves again when Corey actually does go out into the mission field and doesn't come back. And I don't think she will. I think once she gets her training done, and once the church actually sends her out into missions, and once she gets moving on this in a very physical manner, that she won't come back to Sherry. That if she comes back to anybody, it will be a family member to stay in the interim before she's sent back out. It would just be like coming in to rest and then going back out. So I actually feel like she's using Sherry. But anyway, so we had this Thanksgiving thing planned, and she called me Friday or Saturday and left a message saying, just calling, call me when you get a chance, whenever. So it was Friday because it was after I got back from the doctor. And so anyway, I called her back, and she was explaining to me that she was going to have to work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and possibly Sunday. And so she probably wasn't going to get to spend a whole lot of time with us during the Thanksgiving holiday while we were there. And she said, "So Deb, what do you think?" And I said, "Well, it sounds like it'd kind of be useless and futile for us to come, if you're not going to get to spend time with us. I didn't see any point in going." But I could hear Sherry Harmon in the background going, "Are they still going to come? Are they still going to come? Are they coming?" And Sherry's a good person, and I've always had a really good relationship with her, and so has Greg. And long story short, because I could really drag this out, and I'm going to try not to do that because it takes so doggone long to upload these videos to YouTube, and I'm just going to leave it go no matter how bad I look, because keep in mind I've been sick. But no matter how bad I look, I'm just going to go ahead and upload this and get this to you, because it's been quite some time since I last communicated with you. But anyway, so I love my sister. I want you to keep that in mind, but my sister uses people, and I don't care what she puts on her Facebook page and where she is at this point. I think she's using Sherry Harmon as a stopgap while she gets all her shit in one sock so she can go on missions. She has to be in Dallas, where her church is, and there's nobody left in Dallas in our family. Mom and Dad are gone. Her friends are gone. The only person left that she can stay with at a minimal expense is Sherry. And so there it is. But anyway, so I think a lot is going on that nobody in the family knows except Sherry. And of course Sherry is not family. This is Sherry Harmon, not my sister Sherry. But I think a lot's going on, and I think Sherry Harmon needs somebody to talk to. And every time that Greg and I would go visit them, Sherry would sit up for hours into the morning and talk to me and cry on my shoulder, which I was good with that. I was okay with that. I think a lot of her. She's a good person. And anyway, I think she was so anticipating us coming so that she could spend some time with us and actually talk to somebody. And I think Corrine put a stop to it because Sherry knows things that she doesn't want the rest of us to know. I think, now I know my sister means well. And I know that she loves God. And I know that she wants to go on missions. I know these things. But I also know that my sister has a way of using people and then discarding them. My sister has a way of getting the outcome and result that she wants, no matter how she has to get there. Sometimes it's more important to my sister to have a good presentation rather than a good inner self. You know, that outward appearance is more important sometimes to her than the inward health and well-being. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that my parents were so dysfunctional, and it just boiled over and like a candle, it just kind of oozed over the sides, and it trickled down, and then it burnt and melted and molded, and we're all damaged. We are, Corey included. So anyway, I think what's going on is just part of the damage, and it's the only way Corey knows to live. I think that's how she learned to cope, is just to make sure that that outward appearance was everything that was acceptable and approved. I'm hoping I'm wrong. You know, I hope I'm wrong. God, let me be wrong, because I'd like to be wrong. So anyway, I think she didn't want us to come down there and talk to Sherry why she couldn't be present 24/7. I think it was just a little too scary for her to think that there would not be someone there to prevent Sherry Harmon from revealing information and living situations that she didn't want revealed. And also, of course, because Sherry has their daughter Charla there, Charla could support whatever Sherry said if it were true. So I think that just wasn't going to happen, and anything that needed to be done was going to be done to prevent it, and it was. So anyway, bless Greg's heart, because that fell through. He has planned us a Thanksgiving trip to Florida, so we'll be at Panama City Beach in Florida. Hopefully the weather won't be rainy and it will be enjoyable. We can just sit out there in wraps and enjoy the sound of the ocean coming in, and some solitude and some peace. That's what I'm looking forward to. So anyway, I've been reading a book. I don't get to read as much as I would like to, and in fact, this past weekend, because I was so unwell and we had planned on going for a motorcycle ride, but I just wasn't up to it, Greg took Winky and I riding in the truck, and we went to Davy Crockett State Park, and then we got out and we walked around the campground, and it was so beautiful, so beautiful. There was a lovely creek flowing, and it was a sunny day, kind of chilly with the breeze. We saw the waterfalls, and that was cool. I mean, cool as in temperature cool, because there was a breeze blowing off the water, and it was kind of cold. I mean, it was cool, but it was cold cool too. So anyway, we were walking around there, and he said, you know, Debbie, I would just really like to get an RV or be in a position where we could just travel around to various places and just kind of camp, and you could read again. He said, not just a little bit like you do now, but you could really read again like you used to. And I thought that was very kind of him, because I don't get to read like I used to. But anyway, I am reading this one book, and it's called Divinity of Doubt, The God Question by Vincent Bugliosi. And he is a New York Times best-selling author. He wrote Helter Skelter. He is a lawyer. He's a very prominent lawyer. He's also a very prolific author. He has written several books. But anyway, I just want to read this really quickly to you so that you can, my throat's getting sore too. That's been one of the problems with this cat scratch fever. So anyway, I want to read this to you so that maybe you could be interested in this book, and if you are, I can send you mine, or I can purchase one for you, or you can purchase one, or whatever, but I think you'll like it. Vincent Bugliosi is actually an agnostic, and this book is called Now. It says, now, in the most controversial book of his celebrated career, he turns his incomparable prosecutorial eye on the greatest target of all, God. In making his case for agnosticism, Bugliosi has very arguably written the most powerful indictment ever of God, organized religion, theism, and atheism. Theists will be left reeling by the commanding nature of Bugliosi's extraordinary arguments against them, and with his trademarked incisive logic and devastating wit, he exposes the intellectual poverty of atheism and skewers the leading popularizers, that was hard to say, Christopher Hitchens, Sam Harris, and Richard Dawkins. And so I think you're going to find this really interesting. It's really good. I'm loving it so far. I thought I would highlight the certain things in the book as I went along that I thought were relevant and really good. I'm underlining and highlighting nearly every sentence. That's right. So anyway, it's awesome. It's awesome. He's very skilled in how he addresses theists. He's very skilled in how he addresses atheists. And he doesn't give either one of them a whole lot of gambling room, I should say, or leg room, whatever you want to call it. He puts them right on the burner. I mean, he puts them right there. And the one thing that I really, really liked that he said in this book, and I'm not quoting because I don't have it right here in front of me, and I have to search through it and that would take too much time. But what he said was, he does not disbelieve that there is a God, but he knows without a doubt there is not a God like the Christian's God. There is no Christian God. And I have to agree with him there. The God that the Christians are espousing, the God that the Christians are always lifting up and praising and worshiping and all that stuff, that's not my God. And I don't believe that God exists. That's a God of man-made entity. That's not God. There is no God that would be that ugly and mean and unloving and uncaring. That's not my God. So he believes that there may be a God. There's nothing that proves there is, and there's nothing to prove that there isn't. But he knows without a doubt that there's no God. That's the Christian God. So I like that. But it's a great book. It's a great book. Like I said, I'm only that far into it, right there, that far into it, and I haven't read it in a little while because we've had a whole lot going on and everything. I hope you're well. I know I'm not addressing anything from your last few messages, and I apologize for that. I just am very limited with time, and now we're into the holiday season, and like I said, you know, we're going to take a little trip to Florida. You can fly in and come with us. That would be really great. So we're going to take a trip to Florida and be away for Thanksgiving. We will be down there for our anniversary, the anniversary of when we first met, which was in 2002, so that would be 13 years ago. Yeah, we're still young, I guess. So anyway, I hope you're doing really, really well. My relationship with my mother is just as sucky as it ever was, and in fact it's getting worse all the time. I deleted and blocked her again for a while, and then I unblocked her, but I will not ever add her back as my friend. My sister, she's kind of shutting up because there's not a whole lot she can say to someone that won't talk back with her. Corey's neither here nor there with that. I think a lot of times she sides with Mom and Sherry, and she just doesn't want to say it, so she just tells me to be quiet and stay out of it, and why do I bother, and that kind of thing, you know. She doesn't really have an opinion, you know, because having an opinion would mean taking a side, and taking a side is not what people that want to kind of stand in the middle or stay on the fence, you know, what's that called, lukewarm. And I love her, don't get me wrong, I love her, but my sister is lukewarm, especially when it comes to right and wrong within the family. You know, if somebody can justify what they're doing in some way, shape, or form, then hey, yeah, cool, whatever. And then my sister Eva, you know, same old, same old. I'm still the black sheep, and nobody really wants to have anything to do with me, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. So anyway, it's just honest me, near friendless me, the person that's trying really, really hard to somehow just muddle through this life. You know, not doing a very good job of it either, you know, so I wish I could be a better friend to you, and I wish I was in contact with you more often, and I'm not, but please know that I think of you every single day. I do wish you would come to visit. I think we could just really had a great time. I think we could. And, you know, Greg's so accepting of things like that. I mean, he understands that we're friends. He does. And he's not the least bit ugly about anything like that. He's a good man. In fact, he's almost too good, you know. When things fall apart or fall through for me, he's right there. Like when he came in the house after initially looking at my daughter's car, he said, well, she's not going to be driving that thing again anytime soon. I could feel the blood going, whoa, from my face because my daughter's not making much money. I mean, she barely has gas and grocery money. And I thought, oh my God, I can't buy another car right now. And I think he noticed that on my face, that, are you kidding me, look. And he immediately set forth trying to fix this little tin can of a car up. And he did a pretty good job of it. So, you know, I've got good people in my life, and I guess that's all that really counts, isn't it? I've got some really good people. So anyway, I'm going to end this now. It's probably not going to look pretty, baby, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Just know that it's well-intentioned, and I do have some things that I want to talk to you about. I actually thought about sitting down and writing, but this place on my neck, these lymph nodes and everything, that swelled up so bad and it hurt so bad, and I just couldn't hardly tolerate it, and I was just that close from crying constantly. So, you know that it's not for lack of want or desire, but inability. I wanted to sit down and write you. And now I'm having some issues with my employment, doing what they're supposed to do. But anyway, I'm going to get off here now. And hopefully I can upload this to YouTube and get it to you really, really, really soon. Big hug. I love you. And I will talk to you soon.